Hey, what's up, guys? This is Andrew from Dividend Growth Masters. So today I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I want to share a dividend stock that I've been following for a while, and it's actually one of my favorite dividend holdings for a variety of reasons. So the stock here is Service Corporation International. Ticker symbol is SCI, and it trades on the New York Stock Exchange. So right now it trades at a modest valuation, about 18x earnings, $7.8 billion market cap. It's trading near its 52-week high. Dividend yield is 1.68%. So it's not the highest yield ever, but I think it's a good yield for the amount of growth that you're getting and just how stable the business is. And they have paid dividends for a while, I believe at least a decade or so, increasing dividends as well. So that's something that I really like about this stock. So, what in the world is Corporation International? Well, it's basically an owner operator of cemeteries and funeral homes. And the reason why I like this business is because it's very stable. A lot of people prepay and buy coffins and cemetery plots ahead of time before they pass away. So it's a very stable business. The death rate across the U.S., which they pretty much they're only a domestic company. They only operate in the U.S. So the death rate in the U.S. has been pretty stable over the last 10 or 15 years. So that's a really good tailwind in the industry. Obviously, as baby boomers continue to age, that it might provide a tailwind for the company. But there's a underlying demand for their products and services. Now, if you look at the financials, I'm just gonna pull it up. They've done pretty well, over the last few years. It's gonna pull up their 10K. So I'm just gonna pull up the selected financial data. So look, the income from continuing operations has pretty much doubled over the last 2 years, almost doubled over the last since 2015. The business is done pretty well. Dividend, let me see. Yeah, the dividend has pretty much doubled since 2014. So although the yield isn't as high as I would like to be, about 1.7%, the dividend has been increasing at a pretty rapid rate. It was about 34 cents in 2014, and then 68 cents in 2018. So a lot of growth in the dividend yield, and combined with the underlying business, I think it's a pretty good dividend stock. And the cash flows are actually really, really good for this business if you look at the cash flow statement. They're generating about 615 million of cash flow, and then about let's see, where's the capex? About, let's say, about 400 million of free cash flow. So it's a very high cash flow generating business. The free cash flow yield it trades at I think a pretty low valuation considering the quality of the business. These guys are also in general, a very big buyer of their stock. So let's see, purchase of common shares. They routinely purchase about 200 million of their shares every year. So not only do they pay very good dividends, but they also buy back a lot of shares to reward shareholders. So if you look at their share count, I'm just gonna go back to the selected financial data. And just look at the diluted share count. Let's see. Looks like they only have the EPS here. Okay, let's look on the income statement. Okay, so it looks like they reduced their shares from 193 to 182 over the last 2 years. So let's do a quick math. So it's about a 6% decline in the number of shares outstanding over the past 2 years. So that's a pretty good decline in the shares outstanding. I'm actually a huge proponent of buying back shares if it makes sense. And in this case, it has. They really have a lot of excess cash flow. Not only are they paying a really good dividend and increasing it, but they also generate a lot of free cash flow. So Service Corporation International is one of my favorite dividend stocks. The underlying business is pretty stable, very predictable, and there's a lot of demand for the services that they're providing in the death care industry. And not only that, but the company is pretty well run by the management team. I've followed them for a while now. First bought shares a few years ago when they dipped, and since then they've done pretty well. If you look at the stock price performance over the last year or so, it's been pretty good. Over 5 years, it's even better. And if you've invested in the 80s when the stock was at $1, you obviously done pretty well. But overall, Service Corporation International is one of my favorite dividend stocks. It's a great business. They operate in a great business, and the management team is really great at operating the business.